African-American support in the southern states seemed to be what has catapulted Joe Biden's campaign. It seemed dead in the water just a couple of days ago, but here we are seeing a Biden bounce back. He won a string of states across the South, including Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Those are all states that have large African-American communities, and those are the backbone of Joe Biden's supporters. The type of supporters who don't really go for some of the other candidates with more progressive ideas like Bernie Sanders. So Joe Biden has done particularly well on this Super Tuesday. It's a day when there are 14 states voting. There's almost 40% of the total number of votes up for grabs in a single day. Joe Biden's bounce back really began on Saturday when he won the South Carolina primary by a very large margin. Then we saw a couple of moderate rivals, Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg, drop out of the race and endorse Joe Biden, that coalition of moderates coalescing around him. It seems that a number of voters really throughout the last few days have been looking at the race and wondering whether the more progressive, liberal ideas of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders are strong enough to go up against President Donald Trump in November's presidential election, and therefore they seem to be moving away from Bernie Sanders and throwing their support behind the more moderate ideas of Joe Biden, who of course has that name recognition, having been the vice president under Barack Obama for 8 years in the United States. Now, one person who had a particularly bad night was Mike Bloomberg, the former New York City mayor. He spent $500 million of his own money in TV advertising, but only managed to win the American Samoa territory overall. He says that he's going to reassess his campaign in the next 24 hours or so. If he does drop out the race, though, he has said in the past that he would support one candidate and continue to spend big for them. So he may still be in that kingmaker position of being able to throw his money behind one particular person. But I guess we really are now entering a phase where it is a two-horse race between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders to see which of them will win the Democratic nomination to take on the Republican President Donald Trump in November's election. Nick Harper, SABC News, Washington.